Hi, everyone. Delfino Aguilar here, SVP of TPO production here at Kind Landing with a very special guest on our newest edition of Del Talk, Mr. Chuck Flair, who is with the WCF, the West Coast Funding Group 24/7. Chuck, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
I'm really excited, man. You and I, we were talking about this, doing one of these podcasts together, and we've been working together since I think 2008. I think I was engaged or married, I think, at the time we met. So a
Yep,
long time, Mr. Chuck.
I remember it was 2008. Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, it was good times. It was good times. So, Chuck, I'm excited to talk to you because, I've seen you grow so much, what you do for your company and just as a person and a lot of great things. But what I want to get to know you and like how you started in your career and where you're at now, because we're going to talk a little bit about that. So, Chuck, because there's a lot of people getting into the industry too.
Mhm.
And a lot of people want to learn about people like you, top producing loan officers, people that are very, very good at their job. So talk to us a little bit about how you got into the industry.
Yeah, so I got in the industry in 2005. I remember I went to go work for a buddy of mine who was working from at American Home Mortgage, which was located up in La Jolla.
Yeah,
We were a bank, fully delegated bank, not a broker or a direct lender at that point.
right.
I stayed with them up at that branch for about a year, and that's what I basically knew. Before that, I was in sales at 24 Hour Fitness. I was the general manager for them. Then, after about a year at American Home Mortgage, I moved down to the Chula Vista branch, and then my buddy and I we broke off. He opened up his own broker shop, got his broker's license, and that's when we met you. And
Yep.
that was 2005, just before the collapse. And it was actually the Wild West there for a couple of days, and mortgage lending was pretty much falling apart. All those
Right.
banks like Fremont and all these things, you have to close your loan in 5 days, otherwise it's going to close. Bank's going to close. You
Yeah.
know, the freak all the oh my god, those guys were amazing. Anyway, so then we started working with Wells Fargo at the time. Now it's 2008. We kind of stuck with them for a couple of years. I mean, like we had a
Yeah.
really good run. I think we stayed working with Wells Fargo as a broker first, and that was God, that lasted a long time. I want to say that took us all the way through like 2012. I want to say something
Yeah.
like
It
that
was.
because
It was
yeah,
2012. I vividly remember that. I was your guys' AE at the time, for
yep,
those 5 years, 4 years, and it was the best time. And we're going to talk a little bit about VA because you
yeah,
guys have closed a lot of VA loans in your past. You have,
yep,
right? And
yep.
I would say you're a VA expert. You're
I was
involved a
there.
lot with the veteran community. You live in
Yep,
San Diego, right? And we're going to talk a
yep.
little bit about that. And from Wells Fargo, you've transitioned now to where you're at now, right? I mean, not Wells Fargo, excuse me. When you were at that other company, you transitioned to where you're at now.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, I remember that. Back in that time, I remember calling you one day. I said, "Hey, Delfino, can you explain to me what I need for a VA Earl?" And the sheet was really short, and I
Yeah.
was like, there can't be this much to it. There's got to be more, right?"
Right.
But
Right.
there
Right.
really wasn't.
There wasn't at the time.
Yeah,
There wasn't.
oh my
Yeah.
good. Yeah, that was a great program. Huge opportunity for veterans to lower their rates. I remember at the time, I mean, goodness gracious, I remember rates were above 5 at that point.
Right.
It was at that point. So we ended up helping a lot of veterans that first year, especially in 12. I think it was like 10, 11, and 12 when we started doing them. And that's kind of how we really started to springboard into VA more heavily. You know,
Right.
I remember
That's
my
right.
first, yeah, I remember my first VA loan was actually I think I did it with Wells Fargo, and it was a 100% financing, new construction, 502 credit score. I remember it
Yeah.
was like this one guy, and I'm like, wow, I can't believe they did that loan at 100%. But that's good
Right.
that they did. I'm glad they did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A lot of Wells helped a lot of veterans. We're doing a lot of great things for veterans here as well too. So,
great.
Chuck, you have a lot of experience with first-time home buyers, all different types of borrowers you've helped in the past. We're in November. Today's November 1st, right? And
Yeah.
it's Veterans Month, and November 11th is Veterans Day. So I know that what I want to focus on today is VA because you've helped so much. I mean, you
Yeah.
look like a Navy SEAL, right? So I mean, come on. So I know you've helped a lot of veterans, right?
Yeah.
But all joking aside, how important is it for you to help the veteran community? Because in San Diego County, where you live, you're very active in the community. How important is that for you, first off?
Oh, it's tremendously important, especially in San Diego. I think there's about 28,000 veterans that have VA loans inside San Diego County alone.
Yeah.
California has about 150,000, by far than any other state, because I've looked up to it. And I mean, in San Diego alone, I mean, think about it. You got North Island, MCRD, you got the Steel Base, you got Coronado, you got everything up there at Oceanside, Miramar. I mean, it's just like, it's a huge military community, you know?
Yeah.
And so many veterans come and just stay. They'll come here to San Diego. They'll be stationed here, and then eventually they buy here. They retire here. Mm-hmm. And you know, being the son of a veteran myself, it's I think the VA, honestly, the VA loan is the best loan possible of any other type of financing that's out there, for various reasons. And it's highly important that we support our veterans with those, because I mean, some of these guys literally are getting shipped off to go do this and go do that. Their families need a place to live during that time and an affordable payment. Yeah. Sometimes they don't have. Some of these guys get in the military. They get out of the military out of high school, so they haven't had an opportunity to save a ton of money. You know,
right?
So it's important for them to have a place for their families to live. So, and we definitely here at West Coast Funding support veterans as much as humanly possible all the time. It's just
all the time. Yeah. I know you're pretty active in the community. I know that we're going to talk about social media here in a little bit, because that's important. But I know that you're very active in the veteran community. And Chuck, like, I feel like the evolution of VA financing has changed. I remember the days where agents weren't really super hesitant to take a VA offer from anyone at times, right? Have you seen that change a little bit now, especially taking an offer from you that, you know, or someone on your team at West Coast Funding, right, that knows how to structure deals and is known for that? But, you know, how has that changed with agents? Has that changed a bit?
I think there's two phases of the change, right? Yeah. And one phase would have been just after the collapse. You know, a lot of the property inventory that was out there started getting purchased and built up and bought by people who were going to flip those properties, right?
Yeah.
And you know, there were restrictions in place on some of the conventional financing at the time. FHA had relaxed some of it. So, but VA never, ever had any type of restrictions on flip property. So all of a sudden the sellers that were out there were like, yeah, I'll take VA all day long. There's no flip rules, right? Yeah. So that was kind of like the first thing. And I think that was the first wave of where VA became more predominant, especially on the purchase side, because now people there basically was an inventory for these people to buy these properties, because there were so many properties for sale that were flipped across the country, right?
Right.
That was the first wave. The second wave, I mean, what I've noticed a lot is, I mean, it's amazing. I'd love to see what the actual percentage of it is, but so many people who were service members when they got out of the military, with that discipline and hard work ethic that they have, so many of them became realtors, right? As a post-separation career. I mean, I know a lot of at West Coast Funding, we have a sister company called 24/7 Realty, and at 24/7 Realty, they have a lot of veterans that actually work there, right?
Right.
So, and I think that's changed the perception as well, you know?
Right.
So, I mean,
yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Also, too, I mean, I think after a while they realized that the only difference between an accepting a VA offer versus a conventional was that you needed a termite. So,
right.
It's not really that much of a big deal. You know, they're actually easier to qualify for than any other type of loan. So, I think now that everyone understands that VA has grown so much, especially in this area. So
no, it definitely has, especially in the part of San Diego that you live in. It's heavy military in that part of San Diego. You know, Chuck, you mentioned a little bit about the sister company you guys have, and you guys held a lot of seminars. It's great to be back face to face, right?
Yeah.
To see people in meetings. But can you talk about that seminar? Because I know it's VA focused at times, and can you talk a little bit about what West Coast Realty does on that?
So West Coast Funding, when it was founded 15 years ago by Troy Moritz, another partner, and then they actually became bigger once they started doing those seminars. They just got really, really good at doing them. They did really, really well. They helped a ton of veterans get into their homes. That was when I actually came to the company at that time. But then about a year and a half, 2 years after the seminars were going on, pandemic hit, and then all of a sudden, no more live seminars. Everything went virtual, right?
Right.
So, but we had such a huge following of VA communities at that point that we had to find other ways to reach those veterans. So they started doing them online, and now that the pandemic has shifted, now we're working on getting back to those seminars. So they're getting back to having them out there, which is great to get back in touch with and see these veterans face to face, these service members, which is awesome.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome. Chuck, buying a home for somebody you mentioned earlier, some of these guys get straight out of high school, right? And this is going to be some of their biggest purchases. They've been serving 3 or 4 years. What are some things that you guys do to help veterans kind of qualify or be prepared to buy a home? Because I know that I've known you a very long time. We worked on a lot of thousands of deals together. We have to give a shout out to Sandy Pence, right? How many times has Sandy? Yeah, she's the best VA underwriter out there.
All the time. Yeah, we're homies.
Yeah, she's here at Kind. Yeah, right. And so, what are some ways you guys help prepare some of your borrowers to purchase? Right, we're getting into the purchase season again. What are some tips for our veterans out there if they're looking to purchase a home? Some things to keep in mind.
Well, I mean, I think that I wouldn't say there's a special treatment for veterans that doesn't have for everyone. I mean, everyone we work with, we're going to prepare them to buy the home.
Right.
When we're actually pre-qualifying something, apart from looking at their income, their credit, their assets, those types of things, we really want to look at what their maximum comfortable payment is, right? And what they understand their actual comfortable payment is. A lot of times people who are active duty, they think, my BH is $2,600. I want a payment of $2,600. Okay, cool. That's kind of in line. But the biggest thing is it's almost a double-edged sword, because a VA loan will qualify to a higher debt to income ratio than any other type of loan. But that doesn't mean they should go that high, right? So it's really a matter of really looking at the file and make sure that they're going to be good with that payment and they can comfortably afford that payment, right? Because they are buying it at 100%. And, if they end up having to rent it or whatever, then, we want to make sure that they're ready to go. So education is huge. It's not just veterans, but with all borrowers,
Right.
We want to make sure that we're setting them up for success, right? We're actually helping them to take that next big step. Now, it's great to see a lot of the people who have purchased, back that time, and now they're selling and buying up again. It's really great to see them realizing the equity that they've gained. So, I mean, the great thing about the VA loan, it's fixed. The rates are low. There's no ARMs. There's no interest only. So they're building equity every single time they basically make a payment. So that's good.
Right. That's awesome. That's some great advice. So any veterans out there or just borrowers in general, they're looking to purchase a home sometime soon. So Chuck, you shared so much about a lot of different things regarding your borrowers that you work with, especially veterans. Let's talk a little bit about marketing VA. How do you let everyone around you, all your agents, your past borrowers, clients, friends, family, to know, that you're a VA specialist? How do you market that? Because you're well known in San Diego County for this product, and, a subject matter expert, right? So talk to those that want to market VA, don't feel too comfortable with it now, maybe want to learn more about it, So how would you market yourself as a loan officer?
First thing I would say is you definitely want to learn the program first before you market it, right? Yep. There's a lot of different banks out there that do VA loans, right? Every direct lender, every credit union, Navy Fed, USAA, all these places, they all do them, but not all of them do them well, right? That's for sure. So first, you're going to want to know the whole program, right? Now, the other thing that's important, especially, is like you got to know within the confines of where you lend from, like where do you work at? Like, for example, here at West Coast, we don't have any overlays on our VA loan. So literally, if I get an AUS approval at 68%, well, then I can do it, right?
Right.
That's huge. So you got to know your products, right? So you got to know where others' limitations are. So it's important to know those things before you're going to market, because guess what? You're not the only other person marketing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Especially on VA, right?
Right.
The other thing now, as far as what to do, right? Once you know your product and you know the ins and outs of the Streamline program. Now, if rates are, say, for example, not conducive to Streamlines, well, know the ins and outs of the cash out program. I mean, literally, there's veterans we have helped literally save over $1,000 to $2,000 a month by taking out a little bit of equity to pay off other debt, right?
Right.
Then that's when you're going. Now that's going to be your VA ERLs, whether your cash outs, right, or just the VA purchase, right? It's important to make sure that wherever you work is strong in those before you market them. Because believe it or not, if you send a good mail piece out or you really start marketing them, you will get a response for sure. Because veterans are always looking to improve their situation, right? Just like anyone is, right? So it's important to know your product and be able to know what you can, what you're good at, what you're not good at. For example, I have a friend of mine who actually works for a retail branch, and they do VA rate reductions, but they don't do VA cash outs, right? So makes no sense to reach out to her clients and say, "Do you want to take cash out?"
Right.
Now, as far as how to get after them, well, I mean, there's a couple ways you can do it. I mean, with us, I mean, having a strong past client base, right? One thing that we're looking at all the time is just reaching out to our clients one by one, right? Hey, Mrs. Smith, we worked with you a couple of years ago. Just want to check in, see home values have increased on your home. That's one, right? If you're in a market where rates are dropping, hey, reach out to everyone, send a mail piece, right? Just be ready to take those calls.
Right.
They're gonna come. Little birdie told me rates might drop in the beginning of the year, so we'll see. We'll see if that happens.
We'll see if that happens.
We'll see if that happens. I don't know. I'm gonna ask you in a second here. But I mean, as far as purchases go, I mean, us at West Coast and 24/7 Realty, we're on the Zillow Flex program, so we get a lot of incoming VA just from that, right? Mm-hmm. With those, it's important to make sure you're doing a lot of education with those guys once you speak to them over the phone and explain them the difference between. For example, I had a client earlier today. He's already fully pre-approved, asking me where the rates are at. He calls me and says, yeah, really, Rocket Mortgage offered me 2.125 on my purchase. And I'm like, yeah, let me explain something real quick. How quickly are they going to be able to close in 15 days? Well, no. Well, then do you think you can get an offer accepted writing an offer for 30? Well, no. Then right. Or what they say, right?
Right.
So I mean, it just depends on whether you're looking for VA cash outs, VA purchases, or VA IRRRLs, and how do you get after them. There's a lot of ways you can do them. Seminars is one. For us, Zillow Flex is great. Not everyone can be on Zillow Flex. It's a special program for new loan officers coming on. It is a great program if you're starting. So definitely contact me if you're interested. But then also for everyone else that's out there, mailers are good, but they're expensive. You can try online social media marketing, works well too. Anything that's going to get you into a conversation with someone that wants to do something, then you're going to be in good shape. You just got to start. What do they need? What's important to them?
That's right. Yeah, I think Chuck, you hit it right on the head. Like with a lot of things you're talking about, but knowing your product is critical, right? Yeah. And being that subject matter expert like you are, helping so many veterans is important too. So, well, Chuck, you shared so much. Thank you so much. I'll probably see you this week. I'll come by the office.
Definitely. You need to come by, man. I'll give you a tour.
Exactly. I'm glad. I live like less than 10 minutes away, 5 minutes away. But we always end these interviews with a question, and everybody has a morning routine, right? Everybody either works out, meditate, they have quiet time, they prepare their days differently. What's your morning routine? I know that you're all about fitness and a lot of great things about that, and that's awesome. And you've taught me some stuff, right? We've talked a lot about that. And what's your morning routine that you have on a daily basis?
All right, this is basically every single day, right? You get up during the week. I'm usually getting up out of bed about 5:30, right?
Yep.
Feet on the floor, stretch my arms, big smile no matter what, right? No matter what's going on. Get yourself ready. Then get out, go for a walk. Nice long walk. It doesn't matter if it's raining, snowing. It's not normally snowing here, but whatever how the temperature is, doesn't matter. Get outside, go for a walk. Yeah. And then just talk to yourself and feel great about what you want to accomplish and what you already have, The key thing for me is just start your day feeling great about what you want. You do that every single day, you'll be amazed what you can manifest. So,
yeah, that's some great advice, Chuck. So listen, man, Chuck LaFlair, I love you. Thank you so much, brother, for being on this with us. A lot of great information. I'll be coming by the office too. So Chuck with WCF 24/7 West Coast Funding. Chuck, if you want to learn more about this, man, how can we get a hold of you? Instagram, Facebook? You're very active on both, right?
At LaFlair Chuck is good. Facebook Messenger is good too. WhatsApp, call me, text me, email me, whatever's easier. So
thank you, Chuck. Appreciate your time, brother. It was so great to see you. Cool, thank you guys for watching our newest edition of Del Talk. I hope you enjoyed the content. If you want to learn more about Kind TPO, please visit us at kindtpo.com. You can visit us on LinkedIn and Instagram. Thanks, Chuck. Appreciate you, brother.
All right, guys. We'll see ya.